And welcome to another episode of Experts Speak. I'm Michael DeLon, and today I am talking with Cheryl Mucha. Now, Cheryl, by the way, thanks for squeezing me into your busy schedule so that we can talk a little bit.
Michael, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome. It's going to be a great conversation. So Cheryl is a fractional CFO, so Chief Financial Officer. She works with businesses globally, really. And she's the author of a book called Smooth Business Sailing, 12 Tips to Sustain Your Cash Flow, that I'm sure we'll be talking about a little bit. Yes. You can find that obviously on Amazon and probably by reaching out to Cheryl. But what I want to talk about, Cheryl, is, well, eventually I want to talk about the role of a fractional CFO for a small business owner. Why is that so important? But before we get there, tell us a little bit about you, who you are, and how in the world did you get to this place where you are today?
Okay, so I started out in public accounting, got my CPA, did all that fun stuff, that fun tax season stuff.
Fun.
Yeah, real
Hilarious.
fun. And decided after 6 tax seasons that was not where I wanted to spend my career. So I moved over to private accounting. I actually worked for one of my clients that I had during the CPA firm years.
Okay.
And I just really like the dynamic of working for smaller family-owned businesses because there's so much on their plate, so much they have to do every single day. And the accounting and finance piece of it just is not a priority. It's not in their wheelhouse. It's not what they went into business for, right?
It's not, Cheryl. I love making the money and I love spending the money. In
between,
between,
make sure you make it before you spend it.
That's right. Yeah. Here's what you help people do: say, stop it. Yeah. But yeah, I don't want to deal with the ins and outs and things. I've got bookkeepers and CPAs and all that, but I really don't want to get down in the nitty gritty because I'm an entrepreneur. So, all right, sorry.
Right.
Keep going.
So, I worked for 25 years for family-owned businesses and provided them with the information that they need and the insight into the numbers of their business on how to move forward and make changes and become more profitable. And I got to the point where I'm like, wow, I could do this for so many businesses at once. So it's just 10 years ago, I went out on my own.
Good for you.
And just started to build a client base and build a team and just give business owners who aren't large enough yet to have an internal accounting department to support them, give them what they need to effectively run their business in a very cost-effective way.
That's awesome. That is so cool. I can't wait to dive in because even, all the online programs that are out there, you got QuickBooks and you got Intuit and or whatever. Those are great, but I still have to do it.
Right.
I don't want to do it. I want to call
what it takes you hours to do when you get frustrated and you want to throw the computer out the window. We can do it right the first time. And we can talk to you about the results of those numbers and we can help you plan and reach your goals and dreams.
Yeah. That's really good. All right, let's talk about that. Small business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, or even small firms who may have 5 or 6 employees, right? That's really who you're working with. Let's talk a little bit about, they're not big enough to have a chief financial officer because that's a whole position, but they really need some of that. Most of them probably have a CPA, I'm guessing, at some level, but
to do their taxes.
So talk about the difference, I guess, between a CPA and a chief financial officer. How would that work? And think about the entrepreneur. How does that work? What roles are you filling? How are you helping that entrepreneur stay focused on what they really want to do and staying in touch with their CPA and all that? How does that work?
Right. So it's funny because when a client engages us, the CPA that's preparing their taxes or even doing an annual audit loves that the client engages us because it makes their job easier.
Because y'all speak the same language.
Yeah, everything is organized. Everything is tied up with a pretty bow and we just hand it off to them. They have questions. We're able to answer their questions and answer them timely. Whereas the business owner is like all over the place and doesn't have time to dedicate to things like this. No matter how important they are, it's still 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week, right?
Yeah.
So we're so involved, even though we're outsourced, we become team member with the business owner, and we're so involved in their business that we give the CPA what they need to do their job.
Interesting. So really, as because too many times entrepreneurs think of things like this as a cost, right? And I'm
Right.
sitting here going, well, yeah, there's a cost involved, but it's really going to pay me back and make me money, because now I can stay focused on generating revenue, which is what I do, right? And trust you to do the other stuff. And I'm sure you have like call check-ins with your client and all that, but
Absolutely.
I don't have to worry about that because I know it's being taken care of.
And that's
Right?
the biggest thing, is the stress and the worry of our clients. Because they don't know what they don't know. And when we start to provide them with like monthly financials and sit and talk to them and teach them what the numbers are telling them and make adjustments, they become more profitable. They have more time to grow their business, and their stress level just dissipates.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so key, because when you don't know, when you're incompetent, okay. And that's okay. It's okay to be ignorant on some things, Cheryl. It really is.
Yeah.
I'm pretty ignorant when it comes to the details of the finances. I know the big numbers. I know my metrics. But if you ask me to do a journal entry in some, I'm going to say, what? That's why I need you, right? But
Right.
it does add stress and worry and complexity, and it diverts me, because when my CPA asks me for something, I'm going, I don't even know what that is. Okay,
Right.
now I have to spend a half a day. No.
Yeah, and time is money.
You're not a kid.
And there's only so much of that
Yeah.
time in our day and our week.
And it's not just money, it's less stress. I want to live every day with joy and happiness, right? If you put finances on my plate, that is not joyful for me, Cheryl. It's not. I know you. God made you special. And you like numbers and all that pretty stuff. I married somebody like you, right? She's my bookkeeper. She just loves all this stuff. I'm like, okay, you go do with it and tell me what I need. Stress and worry, and then the free time that it gives to focus on what I do best.
Right.
And I think that's really where entrepreneurs want to be. We get into business with this wonderful dream, not realizing that dream is hitched to a big old wagon called finances or whatever.
Right. Finances and marketing and, IT and all those other things that we don't necessarily think of when we decide to become an entrepreneur.
Right. Yeah.
We just know we can build our widget.
Absolutely. Yeah. And part of your world is helping entrepreneurs build that widget, and you'll deal with all of the other things that help them keep doing that to make sure their business stays profitable. Because entrepreneurs, we like to spend money and buy into coaching programs and do all kinds of things to go, oh, did I overspend? So how do you work with somebody remotely? I mean, what's it look like on an ongoing basis? Do you have weekly check-ins, monthly check-ins? And then you said something about once you educate them about knowing the numbers, are there certain numbers that you found across the board a business owner needs to know? I mean,
Great question. So let me start with how we work with our clients. So I have built a team, employees of CFO Your Way, at different levels. So I have bookkeepers, I have controllers, I have CFOs. And typically our entry point into a client is bookkeeping services, because you need organized books and records in order to do the analysis, in order to look at the financial statements. The financial statements are meaningless if there's errors or missteps or information missing. So we typically start with the bookkeeping and build accurate books and records. And then we can introduce a CFO to sit with the client. It's typically monthly. It might be more frequently in the beginning, just to see, profitability or different aspects of the business that are affecting profitability, and really get to learn the business, because every business is unique. Every business has different dynamics. And then once we get everything in place and get the business owner to start to make some changes to make them more profitable and help them grow to reach their goals, it can be a monthly meeting, a quarterly meeting. We're very flexible and want to work with our clients at their level, at their need. So we customize our services to meet their need. And our services are always changing too, because they say, this is great. Let's do a budget for next year. Or this is great. Let's do a cash flow projection. Or can I afford to move into a bigger office space or bigger warehouse space or whatever it is? There's always more detail that can be drawn out of those numbers, and we can do that for them.
Yeah. And that's good. And then have discussions, because it's one thing for you to just present numbers. But if I don't understand what those numbers mean and the ramifications and all that, like, do I buy a new truck if I'm a home inspector or whatever? Well, maybe.
Right.
Let's talk about all the ramifications and the depreciation and the this and that and how it really plays in. And I assume you would help business owners really plan for those taxes instead of waiting till like November or December going, oh, no. Let's plan for those on an ongoing basis, right?
Right. And that's the interaction between us and the CPA firm.
Okay.
To be able to bring that conversation full circle, because I know the tax laws are out there. I know that they're constantly changing, but I'm not up on the details of them.
Right.
So we bring the CPA in and, throughout the year to have those discussions for that, to make sure that we're on track to do the best things that can be done for the client with regard to taxes.
That's great. You said something in there that I phrased it this way: learn what you don't know. And that, so you help business owners learn what we don't know. So I read the book last year, Profit First, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great book. Love the concept. I went, great book. Love the concept.
Now what?
Now what? And that builds that stress and anxiety going, oh, I should be doing it a different way, but I don't really know how to put it in place. And you know what? And now it's on my bookshelf. Now, fortunately, I've got a team who's implemented it for me, but that's what business owners need you for, is to say, you're that expert to go, I got finances. That's your wheelhouse, right? Cheryl, you don't know me well enough yet, but Cheryl and I just met a few weeks ago. But when I found out what you did, I got to have you on my podcast. I'm only good at 4 things, Cheryl. I tell my audience all the time, I'm only good at 4 things. Outside of those 4 things, I'm mediocre at best. Okay. Those 4 things, though, I'm outrageously good. All right. I assume one of your 4 things is finances, right?
Right.
And as entrepreneurs, as business owners, we really need, I learned this years ago, a phrase that says, do only what only you can do. Delegate everything else. You're going to be so much happier, so much more profitable. And that's where CFO Your Way comes into play, to go, I want to grow my business. And it has a lot more to do than just generating more revenue, because you could probably look at a business and find holes where they're losing money, right?
Yeah, it's not about working harder or longer hours sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's fine, like you just said, finding those holes and closing those gaps. I mean, there's opportunity in every business to save money on expenses.
Yeah. And
we just get so caught up in the day-to-day and running our business and signing the checks, we don't look at what it actually costs.
That's
and
right.
We have this very wide vision of what things should cost because we see it in all our clients. So we can look at your P&L and say, why are you paying that for that?
P&L, that is a profit and loss statement.
Yes. So
your CPA knows what it is.
Just to give you an example, we had a client, it was a healthcare facility. We shopped their insurance. They had never taken their insurance policies to market.
Wow.
We brought it to market. We saved them $150,000 a year. And that's ongoing.
That's amazing.
And it was same old. We like our broker, same old.
Yeah.
Never reviewed the policies, never thought to dig into it.
Wow.
What can you do with $150,000?
Quite a lot. Yes. The other aspect that my wife brings to me, because she's my bookkeeper, right, are all of the programs that I've bought that are $19 a month or $9.95 a month or $38 a month that I probably don't even use anymore. She's like, what are these things? I'm like,
right.
Well, I don't know. We can get rid of that. And she probably saved us a few $100s a month just by getting rid of things that I bought into sometime down the road and lost interest and forgot.
Right. Or how many of them overlap? You're paying for 5 different programs that one of them has the capability of doing it all.
That's right.
You just never look into it.
That's right. Yeah. No, that's great. So it's all of those nitty-gritty details that many business owners, entrepreneurs, it's not our wheelhouse.
Right.
we know it's important. So that's where the stress and anxiety comes in. Is like, I know I should be doing that, but so I put it off, and I put it off. Where if you reach out to Cheryl and just help her, it's what, CFOyourway.com, really simple. And start looking at what she does and how bringing on do you call it a fractional chief financial officer, right?
Correct.
But
Yep.
it's more than that. It's bookkeeping. It's looking at things like this. It's the wisdom. It's not just number crunching. It's the wisdom of understanding. Well, have you shopped this? Are you doing that? Where are the holes in your bucket first? And then what are you doing? And I bet over a relatively short period of time, your team, Cheryl, could create a reasonable, I'll call it a dashboard or something of numbers to go, okay, here's your P&L from the last quarter. Let's talk about it for 10 minutes and let me show you the big things that are going on.
Yeah, KPIs, key performance indicators, are a big thing in our world, and creating that dashboard and watching the trends, because the trends, you're a book guy, right?
Yeah.
So I always say the numbers tell a story.
Absolutely. They do.
But you have to be able to understand and be able to read that story.
Yeah. Well,
like
and that's
deciphering code, right?
It is. Well, it's very interesting because numbers do tell a story, but as I look at my P&L, I typically look at it at a point in time.
Right.
I don't look at the story and the trajectory because that's not my gig, right?
Right.
That's interesting to pull this out and say, have you noticed that this is, even though your revenue is going up, your costs are going up faster? Have you noticed that? Interesting.
And that's a big thing, especially in this market. Like, people are like, I can't raise my prices. I can't raise my prices. My customers aren't going to like that I raise my prices. Well, guess what? You're squeezing that margin.
That's right.
Because your costs are going up.
Right. And bringing it all back to what I always tell business owners is, selfishly, we need to build our business to support us and our family and our dreams.
Right.
We want to serve our clients with excellence, but I'm not working for my client, right?
Right.
And that trend analysis, that story that you can learn through finances, I don't know that I could tell that story, right? I need somebody like you to look in and go, here's the story. Here's what we're seeing. Here are your KPIs. And those probably are probably, some of them are the same for most businesses, but every business is different. So different businesses are going to have different ones.
Right.
And here's how you read it. And, oh, by the way, go out and sell some more things because I got this. And building that level of trust, though, I think is really important.
Oh, yeah. And that trust for us usually comes because 99.9% of the business that comes to CFO Your Way is on a referral. So there's already a portion of that trust factor, and then we just build on that.
Right. Yeah. And that's so important because, I mean, as a company, we switched CPA firms last year. Mm-hmm. And it was a lot because of trust in what my new CPA can do for me. Right. But I'm in a mastermind group with my new CPA. Been there for 2 years. I know who he is. I know how he thinks. I'm like, I like you. And so, but that trust, now I'm referring him to lots of people. But it is that transference of trust, and especially when it comes to finances. I'm not sure I want you in my finances, Cheryl.
But it's personal. It's so close to home.
It is, but that's how you communicate. Is like, we want to be part of your business because this becomes you, and you're not just hiring a firm or a piece of software. You're hiring Cheryl and her team, right? And that's where you build that relationship over time, right? To really help those entrepreneurs.
Yes, and we can make an effect on bottom line pretty quickly when we step into a new client.
Which is great, because that's the other thing that I keep telling my clients. Top line profits are great. Bottom line profits are where it's at. I'm after net profit, and I learned a couple of years ago that I can actually go through the year, make less gross revenue and more net revenue. I went, oh, I like that.
Yep, that's the goal.
It is. And when you have your finances in between gross revenues and net profit, when you have your finances in order, the more money you put on top, the more money you're going to get on bottom, because you're managing it better. You're not wasting it. That's what your eyes can help a business owner see, right?
Absolutely.
I like it. So if you're a business owner, if you really want more net profit, more freedom in life, more fun, less stress, less worry, less anxiety, you should probably reach out to Cheryl at CFOyourway.com. And Cheryl, is that the best place for somebody to get you?
Yes, it absolutely is. There's all my contact information is there. There's some great information about our services there. There's actually even a fill-in. You can contact me right through the website. Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. And I assume Cheryl's like me, that first call is not a twist your arm sales call sign here. It's
No,
like, can I help you? Or here's who we are. Are we even a good fit? Can I help
exactly.
you? And let's have a discussion, because that's really what business is all about, is building right relationships that can last a long time and can really put business owners in a better spot, because we do drive the economy and we need to be serving clients, but we need to be driving net profit, because that's the money we can use for our families and the good in the community and the impacts that we want to make as we're helping
Absolutely.
our employees, our clients and everybody else. So
Yes. Yeah, and that I'm all about, like, give back, make sure everyone is doing well. Anything I can to help business owners improve their lives is, I mean, what we're all about. And I don't know if you could tell, but I'm very passionate about what we do. And I mean, I say it all the time. If you love what you do, you never
yeah,
work a day in your life. And I work hard,
yeah,
but I'm never like, it's not, I just love it. It's not work
yeah.
to me.
That's right. I'm right there with you. I don't know what I would do. You know, people say, when are you going to retire? I'm like, I don't know that I am. Why would I do that? I'd be
I'm
bored.
living the dream, right?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. My wife would kick me out of the house. So, okay. So CFO Your Way, reach out to Cheryl. I'm gonna have all that in the show notes too, as well. But
Perfect.
Cheryl, thanks for being with me. Thanks for illuminating us a bit about how we could bring on board a fractional chief financial officer to really help us get a handle on finances, to help us achieve our dreams and make a big difference along the way.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, you are welcome. It's been quite a joy. So you go have a great day. Okay.
Thanks.